All right, it is now 2 minutes after 7 o'clock. It is time for the regularly scheduled meeting in the Beloit City Council. We're here at 100 State Street in Beloit, Wisconsin, the City Hall Forum. Item 1 is call to order, which we've done. Roll call.
All members are present. There is a quorum.
All right, item 2 is Pledge of Allegiance. Will you please stand? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 3 is special orders of the day and announcements. 3A
is a proclamation in recognition of the Beloit International Film Festival.
Mr. Dench, would you like to join me? Thank you. Make sure everyone can see your Biff scarf.
Yes.
An official proclamation from the City of Beloit. Whereas the Beloit International Film Festival, BIF, will launch its second decade is incredible, February 19th through 28th, 2016. And whereas BIF has worked tirelessly to bring Beloit to the world and the world to Beloit, and whereas BIF has been the first film festival to form an affiliation with the renowned Hollywood Film Festival in Los Angeles, and whereas the success of the annual festival is largely based on volunteer efforts of hundreds of individuals in the region, including the year-round work of the BIF Board of Directors, and whereas the business, financial, and nonprofit communities in Beloit have come forward annually to enthusiastically support BIF, and whereas more than 100 films from all genres will be screened over the course of 10 days at 7 venues, with more than 100 filmmakers attending from across the United States and from a score of foreign nations. And whereas this year, Hamal Trivedi, director of the award-winning documentary Among the Believers, will greet guests at BIF in her role as honorary chair. And whereas thousands of school children from the region are given the opportunity to improve critical viewing skills through the Kids at BIF program. And whereas BIF continues to expand its year-round offerings through weekly and outdoor screenings of independent and classic films. Now, therefore, the President of the Beloit City Council hereby honors the Beloit International Film Festival on its 11th season and thanks the hundreds of volunteers for celebrating the city and its people through the power of film. The President further urges all citizens to enjoy these programs and to extend the welcome of our community to all the filmmakers and visitors to Beloit. Presented this 15th day of February 2016, Charles M. Haynes, Council President.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President, Madam Vice President, City Councilors. I want to express my deepest appreciation for this award on behalf of all of us at the Beloit International Film Festival. I'm Marty Dench. I'm president of the board of the organization. I took the liberty of bringing some of our program books, enough for everyone at the head table. If you would share them, please, and if you already have a copy, please share them with your friends, and bring your friends to BIF this weekend. We have a fantastic lineup of films. We did mention that the honorary chair is Hamal Trivedi. She's made an incredible documentary about the Middle East and about the radicalization of young children in Pakistan. That movie was made at great personal danger to the people who are making it. What they turned out was an incredible film that will expand your understanding of Middle East politics considerably. But that's only one of about 100 films that we have on tap. Everything from comedies to dramas, documentaries, feature-length films and shorts, and we even throw in a couple of psycho-thrillers just for good measure. One in particular, Hell's Heart, is one that was a favorite of our program director, and he wanted me to make mention of it. So there's something for everybody, for families, for children. We do have some that are more suitable for older audiences too. So look through the program book, find films that you'd like, bring your friends, and help support BIF. And if you've never volunteered for BIF before, it's a real treat. You get to see 4 films for free for doing so. We still need a few volunteers. City councilors are more than welcome to sign up. We're going to have a volunteer session tomorrow night at Bushel and Peck's at 5:30, so we'd love to see some of you there. Thank you again.
Thank you. All right, item 4 is public hearings, item 4A.
Is a proposed ordinance amending the City of Beloit zoning district map to change the zoning district classification of the property located at 736 Oak Street from R1B Single Family Residential District to R2 Two Family Residential District.
Madam Director.
736 Oak Street is a 1,780 square foot, two-story residential building. The applicant purchased the property on August 31st, 2015. Prior to the purchase, we did determine that it had lost its ability to be used as a two-unit, which it had been used in the past. It did not have a rental permit during the entire 2014 year, so it was not legally occupied, even if it was occupied. She's seeking the R2 zoning to be able to allowed to use it as a two-family again. Just to give you a little background for those of you who don't know, back in the 90s, the city did a comprehensive plan, involved the neighborhood, all the neighborhoods in the city, but specifically near West Side, people came out. They asked for the comprehensive plan to reflect a single-family residential in this neighborhood. Following that, the city then did a comprehensive rezoning, and at that time downzoned a good chunk of this neighborhood to single-family. When the city redid the comprehensive plan in 2008, or between 2006 and 2008, the neighborhood came out again and reinforced that idea of having that neighborhood be single-family, which is why Plan Commission and planning staff did recommend denial of this request.
Thank you. I'd like to open the public hearing on item 4A. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak on item 4A, please approach the podium and state your name and address.
Good evening. I'm Catherine Swain. I live at 737 Elm Street in Beloit, Wisconsin. My husband and I are here tonight to voice our objection to the zoning classification at the property of 736 Oak Street. We request that it remain as it is zoned, single-family R1B. Until we received this letter, we were not aware that Mr. and Mrs. Smith had lost their R2 zoning. How is that, you might ask? Since we live directly behind them, our properties are connected and have for the last 43 years. In all this time, and even before that, the Smiths had their two children. They lived in the home as a single family, as we did and are living in ours. So it's been at least 50 years. Moving on, do any of you on this panel know what the tipping point ratio is of property owner occupied to renter occupied dwellings in a given block or neighborhood before the quality of life begins to deteriorate? I confess I don't. But I do know what we are experiencing. Currently, there are 18 rental units in the 700 block of Elm Street. Just behind me and adjacent to my back property line is 700 block of Oak Street. Here, there are 22 rental units. I happen to know that on that block there is only one owner-occupied dwelling at this time. I believe the tipping point has been reached. To put this in perspective, when I walk my Boston Bull Terrier around my block, we view 38 rental units. This is not including the ones that are on St. Lawrence or Roosevelt. Finally, in the mid-1990s, which you were talking about, I came out, we decided to invest $60,000 in our home rather than move. Included in that was over $7,000 in landscaping. Today, as we stand before you, our property is valued at less than the improvements. It is now as if we had spent nothing. We have been more than willing to invest in our neighborhood. We are excited about the brand new and beautiful Hackett School campus. We are here strongly asking you to help us out. Allowing 736 Oak Street to revert back is moving in the wrong direction for the loyal and proud homeowners of the Hackett neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to come forward and speak on item 4A? Second call for persons to come forward and speak on item 4A. Third and final call for persons to come forward and speak on item 4A. Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing on item 4A. This is up for a first reading tonight. Do we have any councilor questions or comments? Madam Vice President.
Thank you. I just have one question for the public's information. Ms. Christian, is this property structurally set up to be a duplex, or is it structurally a single-family home?
It was structurally a single family the last time we were inside. I mean, it needed a lot of work, but it did appear to be a single family that had been converted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Personally, I think this is, spot zoning is generally unacceptable. That's exactly what this is. It's not in the best interests of our city, not in the best interests of our neighborhood for us to overlook our comprehensive plan and our zoning. I'm adamantly opposed to changing the zoning. Do we have any other questions or comments from councilors? Right. One of the things we must know before we bring this up to do a motion is that if we vote to lay this over, that would be the first stage of actually approving this. So I'll just leave that into your hands. Do we have a motion to lay over?
I'll move to lay over so we can get the movement on the table.
Okay. Moved by DeForest. Do we have a second? Second by Lubke. All in favor of laying this over, say aye. All opposed? Nay. Item fails by a vote of 0 to 7. We failed to lay this over. That kills the matter. Item 5, citizens' participation. We have reached the point on the meeting for members of the public to speak to the council. I'm really feeling aggressive tonight. Okay, so. All right, so to speak to the council about issues that are coming before us or may come before us in the future. The council will not act on any requests this evening unless the item you're speaking about is already on our agenda, but we may act on a request at a future meeting or refer the speaker to staff for assistance. We ask that you hold your comments to 3 minutes or less and avoid making personal attacks. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak under citizens' participation?
Good evening. I'm Celestino Ruffini, and I reside at 1736 Gateway Boulevard in Beloit. I'm the Executive Director of Visit Beloit. It's a pleasure to be here in front of you, Council, tonight, and glad to report on a multitude of things that have occurred in the last couple of months, and look forward to coming back in a couple of months to give my official annual report. But just wanted to provide a quick update on some things we've been working on. First of all, more than $35,000 in joint effort in tourism and community improvement grant dollars have been awarded in our first round of grants through State Line Community Foundation, including money for historic neighborhood signage here in Beloit. So very glad to see that project underway. We've launched a new website, of course, at visitbeloit.com, as well a new visitor guide has been launched. New literature racks, exclusively promoting tourism-related businesses in the greater Beloit region, were delivered recently to local lodging properties. So for the first time, we ourselves are promoting to the consumers coming into the properties, paying the hotel motel tax revenues that help directly support Visit Beloit. In the past, many regional destinations have been on our lodging properties, and we appreciate having them there, but we're very glad to have a local touch within all the properties. We've refreshed the lobby at the Vision Center located at 500 Public Avenue, and welcome all of you and the public to check that out. We've released 2 new videos featuring everything that you can do here in the winter within Beloit, as well a new video showcasing the Beloit International Film Festival in anticipation of their 11th annual this year. supported financially the arena feasibility study, and have budgeted ourselves to complete our own visitor, non-visitor profile study, as well as a meeting and conference space feasibility study. We approved organizational goals and individual staff work plans that strategically will move our organizational barometer in a positive direction. The Visit Beloit Board has committed to the Destination Next planning assessment process to assess our destination strengths and our community support and engagement. And lastly, 2015 did end indeed on a strong note. Our final numbers are still coming in, but at this point we look forward to announcing record growth last year and be announcing that in the near future. On the horizon, just 5 things I want to note. On the horizon, we have hired our marketing interns for this year, both students at University of Wisconsin-Whitewater and looking to add one from Beloit College in the near future. As well, we've hired our go-to crew to operate our mobile welcome center, which we're excited to announce that we'll be taking on the road throughout the Midwest a couple times this year for the first time. As well, in April, we are hosting our first ever diversity workshop that's exclusive. It's really for tourism-related businesses and their employees, but it will be open to the public, and we'll soon be promoting that. As well, we're continuing this year our customer service trainings for frontline employees, and there will be 4 of those sessions that take place this year. National Travel and Tourism Week is upcoming. It'll be May 1st through the 7th, and we'll be announcing our program schedule soon for that week. And lastly, far on the horizon, April 30th, 2017 will be our 30th anniversary at Visit Beloit. And actually just this month we began brainstorming what fun ideas we'll launch next year. So looking forward to the 30th. But appreciate the time. As always, always accessible by email, celestino@visitbeloit.com, or phone 608-313-1360. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Do we have any other individuals wishing to come forward and speak under citizens' participation? Second call for persons to come forward and speak under citizens' participation. And third and final call for persons to come forward and speak under citizens' participation. Hearing none, I'll close citizens' participation and we'll move on to item 6, which is the consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion. There'll be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered at this point in the agenda. Does any councilor wish anything removed from the consent agenda? Hearing none, the consent agenda will consist of items 6A and 6B. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
Moved by Lupke, second by Kincaid. All in favor of approval of the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Item passes by a vote of 7-0. Item 7 is ordinances. Item 7A.
Is a proposed ordinance to amend sections 25.04 sub 4D and 13.18 of the Code of General Ordinances of the City of Beloit pertaining to parking enforcement. This is second reading.
Good evening.
Chief.
The amendment will just give us greater capacity in terms of allowing CSOs, building inspector, code inspectors, and fire inspectors to issue tickets and tow vehicles in public safety situations like snow emergencies. So we recommend approval of the ordinance change.
Right. Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve to get this?
Second.
Moved by Lupke, second by DeForest. Do we have any questions or comments on this item? Hearing none, I'll call the matter. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item passes by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. All right, item 7B.
Is a proposed ordinance to amend section 25.04 sub 4D of the Code of General Ordinances of the City of Beloit pertaining to officials authorized to issue citations related to annual rental dwelling permits. This is second reading.
Mrs. Christensen.
This will allow an additional staff member to write citations related to not applying for annual rental permits. We have divided the workload from one person to 2 people, so we'd like the second person to have the ability to write tickets as well.
Right. Thank you. All right, do we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Moved by Kincaid, second by Kelly. Any questions or comments on this? All right, I'll call the matter. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item passes by a vote of 7-0. Item 7C.
A proposed ordinance amending the City of Beloit zoning district map to change the zoning classification of the property located at 2345 Prairie Avenue from R1A Single Family Residential District to PLI Public Lands and Institution District. This is second reading.
Mrs. Christensen.
The River of Life United Methodist Church, located on Prairie Avenue, would like to be zoned Public Lands and Institutions District. At your last meeting, you held a public hearing on this item, and they explained what their plans were for the site. They're not making any long-term changes. They're planning to be at that location. The institutional use is appropriate for the Public Lands and Institution District.
All right, thank you. Do we have a motion for approval?
Move approval.
Moved by DeForest, second by Sloniker. Questions or comments from councilors? All right, then, call the matter. All in favor, say aye. Aye. And opposed? Item passes by a vote of 7-0. Item 8 would be appointments. We have none. So item 9 is councilor activities and upcoming events. I will start with Councilor Hendricks.
Good evening. First off, want to thank everyone who supported the Minority Excellence Organization on Friday for their soul food luncheon. I heard there was good, well, I did have some. I was going to act like I didn't. It was good food. But we appreciate anyone who came out or supported them in any way. And the Minority Excellence Organization is still hosting the Flood Flint with Fresh Water initiative. So they'll be accepting cases of bottled water at Beloit Memorial High School all this week. So up until Friday, I believe, we'll still be collecting water. So if you have any questions, you can contact me for that as well. And then I wanted to remind everyone that tomorrow is voting day. And to remind you that it is not the presidential preference, but the spring primary for state Supreme Court. There will be 2 voting locations. Wards 1 through 12 will vote at the Beloit Historical Society, and wards 13 through 25 will vote at Central Christian Church. And then if you don't know your polling location, you can log on to myvote.wisconsin.gov and get that information. Polls will be open from 7 a.m. till 8 p.m. That's all.
Thank you. Councilor Sloniker.
Yes, this coming Wednesday, there's the EOC Commission will be meeting at 5:45. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Kelly.
Well, the last 2 weeks been just biff for me, except I did enjoy some fried chicken at that luncheon. And I attended the Downtown Beloit annual dinner where they presented biff with an award for their best event for 2015. So it's a very nice event.
Thank you. Councilor Lipke.
I chaperoned Councilor Kelly at that dinner. I just wanted you to know. And Regina, next time, I forgot to mention IDs. People have to have a picture ID.
Yes.
That's critical. A lot of people are not going to have that. So when you vote tomorrow, and we should all vote, take that. I want to just point out we have at least 3 prospective counselors in the office tonight: Mark Preschel, Regina Duncan, and Jim Farringer. If I miss somebody, raise your hand. But it's nice to see prospective future counselors come to the meetings to know what's going on. And finally, it was kind of nice last week, Chief, to turn on Channel 27 and see one of our officers shoveling the walk of an older person. That was really nice, and they made a big deal. And I know this is not something unusual. Our officers, both police and fire, and our city workers are always bending over backwards for our citizens. So just another example. So thank you again. That's all I have.
Thank you. And Madam Vice President.
Thank you. I would like to welcome new firefighters, Erickson and Stam, so we're excited to have them on board. And would also like to congratulate Beloit Pentecostal Assembly, who are starting a new church in Beloit. I was able to attend their first worship service on Sunday and officially provide a city welcome to their members there. I am excited about BIF, one of my favorite events in the city of Beloit that I look forward to all year. So I'm looking forward to seeing friends and neighbors and really welcoming people who are seeing Beloit for the first time or coming back to see our beautiful city. Thank you. Everyone that comes always says they have such a wonderful experience. They're made to feel very welcome by our residents. So thank you for that. And then finally, I have to put a plug in for Project 1649. It is a shelter for youth that are homeless, and they are having a fundraiser February 27th at 7 p.m. at the Pontiac Convention Center. They're having a lip sync battle and I'm going to be Ginger Spice Girl, for the lip sync battle. So if you want to see me be Ginger Spice, you have to come. This is for a really good cause. I would not be doing this. Let me assure you. It will be very entertaining. So again, that's February 27th at 7 p.m. If you go to my Facebook page, we have a CrowdRise donation site there that you can pledge your donations to Project 1649. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
You're laughing. I see you.
All right, and Councillor Kincaid.
It's been a quiet 2 weeks, thank you.
Well, it's not so much as what's gone behind, but was what is ahead of us. But I think everybody's already stolen my thunder on the things that are coming up in the next couple of weeks. Please vote. Let's go to BIF. Let's support 1649. And all right, that's all I've got today. All right, item 10 would be City Manager's presentation, 10A.
It's an annual Landmarks Commission report for 2015.
Chairman Blazer.
Yes, for those of you who do not know me, I am Alex Blazer. For those of you who do, I'm sorry.
That's not true. We're glad you're here.
Test drive here. Oh, there we are. And the reason I've called you all here today is because once again, it is time for the Beloit Landmarks Commission Activity Report for 2015. This is required by Section 32.0510 of the Historic Preservation Ordinance. The present commission consists of our City Council representative, Anna Kelly, our staff liaison, Alex Morgenroth, pronounce that correctly? And the commissioners are, other than myself, Co-Chair Ruth Vader, Donna Johnson, Ellen Joyce, Terry Kay, Steve Truesdale, and Steve Vollmer. We approve COAs, Certificate of Appropriateness. This is for anybody trying to change or alter the appearance of a property in a landmarks, designated as landmarks, landmark site, or structure within a historical district in the city. At this time, we have on the Bluff Street District 115 properties, in the College Park District 156 properties, in the Merrill Street District 4 properties. In addition to that, we have 46 individually listed landmarks properties, which total 321. In contrast to other cities in the state of Wisconsin, Stevens Point, La Crosse, Eau Claire, Madison, Beloit has the most, which means our job, it should be a lot harder, but our commissioners make it easy. Out of the COAs, we have roughly consistently 50%, well, maybe 40 to 60% approved by staff. Makes our job also easier. And the COAs that have been approved in the last year, gutters and fascia soffit were 6, fence installation 9, handrails and porches 5, ramp, sidewalks, pavement 5, roof repairs, replacement 12, structural repairs 6, siding 4, windows and doors 8, signs 3. And the special projects are 322 Bluff Street demolition, the 251 Roosevelt Avenue demolition, and Memorial Garden installation at Horace White Park. We have additional commission activities, which consist of our signage project, which we are hoping to have the first signs up by the end of, or somewhere around the fall of 2016. and Fairbanks and Morris has donated $1,000. It's here for Fairbanks and Morris. Capital Improvement Project Grant is $3,476. The intensive survey update, which is being conducted by Legacy Architecture of Sheboygan, Wisconsin, and they have completed the survey in October of last year, and hoping that the final documents will be completed in the summer of 2016, which is this year. We also have a Facebook page, which is on the screen now. And for any questions that you may have about some of the things that we are doing, I have the other Alex here who is much more qualified to answer these questions.
Councilor
Thank you.
Lukey.
Thank you.
Alex, I just have one question for one of you. How long has this commission been a commission in Beloit?
There again, there are probably somebody much more qualified to answer that question.
Okay. I'm so glad we finally have it. So many beautiful buildings and homes have been torn down. I think of the Beloit Savings Bank for one, the old bank, and others. But also on the state level, in reading legislation, there's talk of taking away the right of communities to declare historic sites. What do you know about that, or what can you comment on that?
If I may,
I could, but
Madam City Manager.
I'd be happy to. So I was actually in Madison testifying against the bill in its original form that would have severely limited cities' abilities to have their historic preservation districts as we know them. That bill was amended since that time, and although I do not believe it has yet passed both the House and the Senate, in its current amended form, it is certainly something much better than the original bill. The original bill really prohibited any kind of regulations from a historic preservation district or a city unless each individual homeowner agreed. And I think that sort of defeats the purpose of the overlying objective of having districts and special areas and special properties identified that, as maintained as those historic districts, do increase property values within and near those districts. So it was a valiant effort, and everyone was really engaged on a staff level watching that legislation and providing a great deal of information to have that halted in the form that it began.
Thank you. Madam Vice President.
Commissioner Blazer, I'd just like to thank you for your work, and please extend the city councilors' thanks to all the commissioners. We really appreciate the work that you do.
I'll do that tomorrow night.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Item 11 is reports from boards and city officers. Item 11A.
Is a resolution authorizing application and acceptance of a community grant from the National Council on Aging for the Aging Mastery Program and amending the 2016 Grinnell Senior Center operating budget for this grant program.
Madam.
Hello, I'm Paula Shutt, the coordinator of Beloit Senior Center. I'm here tonight to recommend the approval of the resolution for the Aging Mastery Program. You all have a report in front of you explaining the specifics of the program. It's a $12,000 grant, non-matching. First $6,000 to be awarded after the approval, and the second $6,000 to be awarded in the summer of 2016. But I do want to tell you just a little bit about AMP. AMP, the Aging Mastery Program, is a nationwide program. It has a presence in more than 124 sites from Massachusetts to Florida, California, and Alaska, and it reaches out to thousands of baby boomers and older adults. Currently, Wisconsin and Minnesota have 13 locations each. The National Council on Aging has looked at studies that have shown Americans are living longer and they have more years of good health after retirement. And they realize that you can only golf so much and go on so many cruises, and relaxation gets a bit tedious after a while. Older adults have unprecedented amount of free time each day that they could be using to improve their own lives as well as the lives of others by civic engagement. So that's where AMP came in. It's a comprehensive, fun approach to living that combines education with goal setting, daily practices, and peer support. Participants in the program will be making meaningful and enduring changes in the area of health, finances, life enrichment, and advanced planning. It's an engagement and behavior change program with the primary emphasis on getting people to take actions that improve their life. It's a fun process, and it includes education and peer support, merit badges, and token incentives. It's good for the community because it helps strengthen ties between healthcare and community organizations, and it brings together community partners to develop models for healthy aging. It consists of a 10-week class. We meet once a week for approximately 90 minutes. And after the 10-week class, there's a graduation. And then we will be having elective classes for the people that participate in that. And we will be holding 3 of these 10-week classes between now and the summer of 2017.
Thank you. Do we have a motion for approval? Get this on the table?
So moved.
Moved by, okay. Moved by DeForest, a second by Sloniker. Madam Vice President.
Thank you, Paula. I'm really excited about the creative programming that you're providing. We're hearing fantastic things, and thank you for looking for revenue outside the city to help fund these programs. Please be sure to invite us to those graduations when they occur so we can be there if possible. That would
I
be
will
wonderful.
definitely do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, do we have any other questions or comments from councilors? Hearing none, I'll call the matter. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Item passes by a vote of 7-0. Item 11B.
The City Council may convene into closed session pursuant to Section 19.85 Sub 1G of Wisconsin State Statutes for the purpose of conferring with legal counsel.
Do we have a motion to move into closed session? Motion. Moved by Lubke, second by Sloniker. All in favor of going into closed session, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are in closed session. Yeah, we didn't really have a lot to talk about. All right, so we've reconvened into open session. Do we have a motion to approve this settlement?
Motion.
Moved by Lupke, second by Hendricks. All in favor of approval of this settlement, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item passes by a vote of 7-0, which leaves us with one last piece of business, item 12, adjournment. Moved by Hendricks, second by Sloniker. All in favor of adjournment, say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.